First, though, if you were ever to meet our next guest, you would never guess that he has been given just 3 years to live by his doctors.
Well, Iain Ward was diagnosed with an incurable brain cancer in 2020, but despite this, his outlook on life has never been more positive.
Well, he's now known as the King of Chemo to his millions of social media followers and is on a mission to raise more money than anyone else in history.
Well, Iain joins us now, and it's really lovely to have you here today. Thank you.
Love the crown.
Yeah, good crown. Before we even sort of get to your diagnosis and everything, because I think it's really key because it is essentially who you are as a person. I mean, from an early age, you've always been incredibly positive.
Yeah, I suppose I have. So I haven't particularly gained any sort of new mental strength, but it was kind of handy to have that before going in with the cancer stuff.
Definitely.
So it's 2019. You're taking part in an unrelated medical study just to make a little bit of extra cash.
Yeah.
And what did
Well,
they
a
find?
lot of extra cash, but anyway.
Yeah, a bit of extra cash.
Yeah.
What did they find?
So I went in to do an MRI and they found that there was a tumour there. And so then they called me up and they were like, you've got to get this checked again. And my first reaction was not to be like, oh, no, how serious it? It was more, can I still do the trial? Because I still want the money. And they were like, no, you need to go get this checked out. This is a serious medical condition. And then there was a bit of a delay due to COVID, but then the second time I went in for a scan, they had seen that it started growing, and they said it was growing aggressively. So then it's like, OK, this is definitely not a benign tumour. We need to start cutting into your head.
Oh, God. And so that's when you got the diagnosis that this tumour was cancerous, and they gave you a diagnosis of your future and your outlook, which was tough to hear.
Well, not straight there and then. They did that after they scooped the bits of the brain out and were able to do more of an analysis on it. And they were like, OK, yeah, what our prediction was accurate, and this is cancerous, stage 3. And they didn't. It's not like the movies where they say, you've got 1 year to live, you've got to do this. They never do that. You've got to, like, really try and get it out of them. And so they said that roughly due to the data that we have in people in your situation, which is kind of inaccurate because it's done by 60-year-olds. Those are the people that go in with no symptoms, not 30-year-olds. You've got about 5 to 6 years on the clock, but it's like you're not really accurate to that because we don't have data on people who are your age, and it's half the age of these people who are affected.
OK.
So, yeah.
Well, you had loads. I mean, let's just say we hope that the numbers are all wrong.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
It happens,
you know,
doesn't
does
it?
happen.
Yeah,
We've
a
met
lot.
people who you know, have been given a very tight prognosis and were still there years and years and years after.
Oh, yeah, I've heard loads of stories about how people
absolutely, and you
have
are a
lived to 20.
half, you know, glass half full type of guy. So
Yes, sir.
Let's hope that's all wrong. You had the chemo and you had the radiotherapy, and that was rough, wasn't it?
At some points, yes, but I think to most of... Because cancer is so different, it has such a variant that the people that have, say, lung cancer, they go through much worse chemotherapy than me. I was up and active. I was running and cycling into my hospital appointments for my radiotherapy and chemotherapy, whereas other people, the chemo and the radiotherapy is blasted at wherever the target spot is, but they can't do that with the brain because you die like a headshot. So I got the easier version of chemotherapy. So it's not the end of the world.
So that's where you find yourself. And whilst going through all of this, you're thinking, right, however long I've got, I'm here and I'm going to make a big difference. And you have this focus on breaking records. So just explain what you want to do.
So I kind of knew that I'd be able to get on the pity party pretty quickly and be able to take advantage of that. So I was like, all right, let's look into doing something physical. And the first thing that popped into my mind, other than the brain tumour, was the marathons, because I'd done a marathon before, and I was like, OK, yeah, easy to kind of do charity associated with that because it's almost what they're meant for at this stage. And I looked up and I started looking up world records, and I also knew that you could do a world record as dressed up as something for a marathon, and so you could have a world record for something physical that's not sort of boosted by having cancer, because, I mean, attracting more attention for raising fundraising. Cancer is a benefit, it just is. And so, yeah, 2.3 million was my target. And I was like, that's hard, but doable. And then the same thing for fastest person dressed as a video game character is sub 3 hours, which is very hard, but again, doable.
Yeah.
So the final goal, and you say that, you know, you want to seriously have a legacy here.
Oh, yeah.
What is the actual goal? What's the number? Is there a number?
Well, I suppose I'm doing it in steps. So the first world record that I want to break, like the video game thing, that I don't really care too much about that. It's just I had a social media channel that was based around video games, so that was my idea at the time.
It made sense, yeah.
Yeah, to kind of go with the flow. But so after I hopefully break the world record, I'm going to move on to just the general world record, so not associated with marathons, and that is something a lot higher. I think it's nearly 15 times the amount of money that needs to be raised. The last time it was done by someone who was raising money for the NHS during COVID. And so, yeah, that is the one step at a time. But, yeah. And once I break that, I just want to break my own record over and over again.
And you want to run around the world, manpower only.
Well, that's the end result, yeah.
I know, and I love this. I mean, this got me this morning when you said you picture this in your mind, that final day sort of running through Dublin, and who's there at the finish line?
I'd imagine loads of people would be there, and then I'd be kind of like, OK, what do I do now? Wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Start
Run back.
Else. Go the other way, be like, yeah.
It's Forrest Gump.
Yeah, exactly. Forrest Gump. I think I'll go home now.
What advice? There will be people watching who may have had a scary diagnosis. What do you say to them? You are a positive guy.
Just to kind of not let it define you as a title. So I'm manipulating the fact that it has a stigma that it's like, oh man, you're not going to be able to run marathons and lift weights and cycle across the US and all this sort of different stuff. So I was like, all right, let me take advantage of that, but then also make a social media channel that is based around, it doesn't define you. It doesn't mean that you can't do X, Y, and Z. You can, certainly be limited by it, but that's the same with...
Well, you've got 300,000 followers on Instagram, 3.8 million on TikTok. Are you going to share the progress?
3.9 now.
3.9 now? Well, it'll be more now.
Probably more.
It's more now.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
You are amazing. Good luck.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
let's hope all the figures are wrong.
Yeah, well, some of them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.